So I didn't realize how many people were actually looking to move or between Richmond and Hampton Roads. People have been spending weeks, sometimes months, comparing home prices between Richmond and the 757. They pull up Zillow, they run the mortgage numbers, and they genuinely feel like they've done their homework. But they're stuck because they're like, oh my God, I don't know the difference between the two markets. And because I'm in the process of doing this right now, I'm doing the homework for you so you don't have to do it, okay? Here's the thing, friends. The cost of living in these two regions is not about what you pay on closing day. It's about what your money actually does for you every single month after that. And if you don't understand the full picture before you sign on the dotted line, you're gonna feel it in your budget, and I can promise you that. So today we're gonna go deep on this, guys, because listen, I've done the work for you because I'm in the process of making this move right now. We're gonna compare Richmond versus Hampton Roads. What does your money actually get you in 2026? I'm gonna give you real numbers, honest comparisons, and some things that I think most other agents are just not going to tell you. Hey friends, I'm Sonali Hutson, and I am uniquely positioned to have this conversation with you because listen, I am actually living the dream right now. I've been serving clients in Hampton Roads for over a decade, and right now I'm also deeply rooted in the Richmond area, specifically out in Glen. Because this move was unexpected, I am driving regularly the I-64 corridor between Richmond and Hampton Roads, or Henrico and Hampton Roads, almost every day. And I can tell you from personal experience that these two regions feel different in ways that the internet is just not always going to capture. So if you're thinking about relocating to Virginia and you want someone who actually knows the Richmond and Greater Richmond and surrounding areas and the Hampton Roads areas, I'd love to be your resource. There's a link below this video to schedule a free call with me. No pressure at all. We'll have an honest conversation about where you are and how we can bridge the gap to where you want to go. Or you can text me at 757-837-0096. I'd love to talk. Let's get into it. So we're going to start with housing because for most families, that's the biggest number on the page. And I want to make sure we're being real about what those numbers actually look like right now. See, in Richmond, the median home price is currently hovering somewhere between $380,000 and $420,000, depending on which part of the Richmond metro area that you're looking at. If you have your eye on the Fan District in Church Hill or any of those gorgeous historic in-town neighborhoods, you're going to push past $500,000 pretty quickly for a row house that has some real character, okay? Now, neighborhoods like Scott's Addition and Carytown are popular, walkable, and priced to match that demand. So just know what you're walking into. Now, on the rental side, a solid 2-bedroom apartment in a desirable area of Richmond is going to run you somewhere between $1,800 and $2,500 a month. Now, let's shift over to Hampton Roads across the region. Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, Suffolk. The median home price typically lands between $350,000 and $400,000. So on the surface, those numbers look pretty close to Richmond. But listen, location within each region matters enormously, and I can't stress that enough. Virginia Beach oceanfront is completely different. It's a completely different conversation than Chesapeake or Suffolk. And if you're willing to explore beyond the most well-known zip codes, there is still real value to be found in Hampton Roads. Rentals there tend to run around $1,600 to $2,200 for a 2-bedroom in most areas. But here's the thing that most people completely miss when they're comparing those headline home prices: property taxes, y'all. They are not the same across these two regions, and honestly, they're not even the same within each region. Richmond City proper carries higher property taxes rates than surrounding counties like Henrico and Chesterfield. And in Hampton Roads, the rates vary significantly between Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, and Suffolk. Now, this is not a very small detail, y'all, because over the course of a year, property taxes can add thousands of dollars to your actual cost of home ownership. And most people don't factor that in until they've already made the decision to buy a house. So I want to talk to you guys about something else in the Hampton Roads side, which is homeowners insurance, okay? Coastal proximity means wind and flood considerations that don't apply the same way in the Richmond market, depending on where you land and whether you're in a designated flood zone. So your insurance costs could look very different compared to what you're currently used to paying. Now, this is exactly the kind of thing that I walk my clients through before they fall in love with the house, because I would much rather have a hard conversation early than watch somebody get surprised during the process or at closing, okay? That's just crazy. So if you've got a roof over your head now, let's talk about everything else, because the mortgage is just the beginning of the monthly budget conversation, okay? Let's talk about utilities first. In Richmond, average monthly utility costs, electricity, heating, cooling, water, trash, typically is going to fall somewhere between $200 and $350 for a moderate-sized home. Now, Hampton Roads is going to run in a similar range, but the coastal humidity during the summer months can push your cooling costs noticeably higher. And I've seen clients in Virginia Beach hitting $300 to $400 in the summer, especially in larger homes. Same thing in Richmond. If you're in a historic home that's an older home, it's going to cost you a little bit more money to put in electricity electricity and to heat and cool the home. So I don't want you to be surprised by this, okay? Now here's where things get really interesting. Transportation. And transportation is something that people don't really think about until it's too late. See, Richmond is actually a more walkable city than most people expect, especially if you're living in or near the urban core. Commutes tend to be shorter, and if you land in the right neighborhood, you may not even need your car for daily errands, which honestly can be a luxury that adds up financially over time. Y'all, I just paid $88 to fill up my gas tank, so enough said with that, okay? Now, Hampton Roads is gonna be a different story, and I say that with love because I've lived and worked there for 10 years. This is a sprawling region made up of multiple independent cities, and getting from one city to another is gonna take real time and real gas miles, okay? So if you're working in Norfolk, but you live in Virginia Beach, or if you're commuting from Chesapeake into downtown Virginia Beach, then those miles are gonna add up fast, and your gas bill is gonna tell on you every single time. Again, it just took me $88 to fill up my car, okay? I had a client who relocated from Richmond to Virginia Beach, and within just a couple of months, she was like, girl, I'm paying so much more money in my transportation costs. Not because she was being careless with money or just, having to put premium in the car, okay? But because Hampton Roads requires more driving. It's not a knock on Hampton Roads. It's just not a place where we're gonna have a lot of good public transportation, and you need to know that up front. Now, groceries are pretty consistent across both markets, honestly. A single person is probably spending $400 or $500 a month on food, and a family of four is probably looking at $1,000 to $1,500. I mean, the major grocery chains are well represented in both regions, and prices don't really vary dramatically between both of the regions. Both areas also have great farmers market and local options. So if you like to shop local, which a lot of people do, good. The pricing is going to be pretty much the same. Now, listen, I feel really strongly about this because I see people make this mistake a lot, okay? Now, people make decisions about where to live based almost entirely on the price of the home, and they completely skip the full monthly picture. Now, I don't want you to feel bad because honestly, the real estate industry doesn't always do a great job of laying these type of things out clearly for our family. But guys, I've watched families stretch themselves into a home that technically fit their mortgage approval, but then they struggle month after month and they become house poor because of the actual cost of living in that location was more than they ever anticipated. And that's not really how this is supposed to go. See, the number on the listing is not the number that you're going to live with. And most of the time, that's just the starting price point of the house. The number that you're going to actually live with is your mortgage, which includes your property taxes, your insurance, your utilities, your commute costs, all of the things tied in together every single month. And that's going to be your real cost of living. And that's exactly why we're having this conversation today. Because the more you know about buying a home going into it, the better decisions that you're going to make. And guys, I really want you to make a good financial decision overall, okay? Now, I'm going to zoom out just for a second and give you some broader context because I think it actually makes both of those markets look really, really good, okay? Now, if you're coming from Northern Virginia, or if you're even just considering it as an option, I want you to know that both Richmond and Hampton Roads are significantly more affordable than the DMV. And I mean significantly more affordable than Northern Virginia. A home that may cost you $400,000 in Richmond or Hampton Roads could easily be $650,000 or $850,000 in Arlington, Fairfax, Loudoun County. And that's not just housing. I'm talking dining, childcare, entertainment. All of it is going to run about 30% higher in Northern Virginia compared to Central or Southeastern Virginia. So if you're making that move down I-95 or the I-64 corridor, your dollar is going to breathe a whole lot easier and your quality of life is going to feel real different in the best way coming to Hampton Roads or coming to Henrico County. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, yes, there are smaller cities in Western Virginia and the Shenandoah Valley where you might find lower home prices. But here's what I like to tell everybody. A cheaper house in a market with limited job opportunities doesn't automatically mean better financial situations for you, okay? Now, Richmond or the 804 and Hampton Roads, the 757, they both offer something that smaller markets really can't match. Genuine economic diversity, strong job sectors, a significant military presence, major universities, large healthcare systems, and growing technology industries. The combination of livability and affordability is rare, especially in today's day and age, and both of these markets have it, okay? Now, let's talk about strategy, okay? The first thing that I tell every single client before they move is to build a realistic pre-move budget. And I mean a realistic budget, not just some fake budget that you throw together, okay? Not something that's just you being optimistic. Don't just calculate your mortgage payment and call it a day. Factor in your closing costs, your moving expenses, and a real buffer for those first few months when unexpected things are gonna come come up because y'all, being a homeowner, there's going to be things that always come up. I always recommend having at least 3 months of living expenses in reserves before you close, and I do stand by that firmly. Now, a lot of people can't do that, but it is a recommendation. When you move into a home when you're already stretched thin, it can be stressful and it can take the joy out of the new home ownership experience that you deserve. I want better than that for you. Now, if you like Richmond, but the pricing feels like a stretch, look at the surrounding counties. Henrico and Chesterfield both offer wonderful neighborhoods, great schools, and lower property tax rates than the city itself. And you're still close enough to the city to enjoy everything that Richmond has to offer. A lot of my clients end up loving that balance even more than they expected to. They'll move out to the county, but they kind of hang out in Richmond. Now, in Hampton Roads, if Virginia Beach or Norfolk pricing is pushing your budget harder than you like, then don't overlook Suffolk, Chesapeake, or even parts of Newport News. You might be adding a few minutes to your commute, but the value per square foot in those areas can be significantly better. And for a lot of families, that trade-off is absolutely worth it. But listen, you've got to make that decision for yourself. If you want me to break down specific neighborhoods in either market, I have videos covering a lot of the markets. So check the description for those links because that neighborhood context is going to save you so much time and so much energy. Now, don't skip this, okay? Because people skip this constantly. Track your actual spending for the first 3 full months after you move. I'm talking every dollar. I know that sounds tedious, but listen, use an app to make it easier for you, okay? Because it's genuinely an eye-opening in the best way, because most people don't actually know where their money is going until they see it written down. And once you see it clearly, you can make real adjustments instead of just feeling vaguely stressed about money every single month, okay? You need to know what your budget's going to be. Now, I love sharing this one because both Richmond and Hampton Roads have incredible free and low-cost resources that people genuinely don't take advantage of enough. There are state parks, free community events, public library systems that are excellent, outdoor recreation that costs nothing. Living really well in Virginia does not have to mean spending a lot. And if you're intentional about it, both of these markets can feel like an incredible deal. So here's the bottom line, friends. Richmond and Hampton Roads are both genuinely fantastic places to live. And I say that as someone who has deep roots in both. They both have different personalities, different vibes, different strengths, and the right one for you is going to depend on your job, your lifestyle, your family situation, and honestly, where you feel like the Lord is leading you to next. Because listen, I did not expect to be led here in this season, okay? And what I want you to walk away from in this video is knowing that the home price is just the beginning of the conversation. So when you're looking through those listings, yes, look at the price, but there's so much more involved. The full cost of living, which is your property taxes, your insurance, your utilities, your transportation, your groceries, all of it is what you're actually committing to every single month when you're buying a home in a new neighborhood. And the more informed you are going in, the better positioned you're going to be to make a move that you really feel good about for years to come. If you are seriously considering a move to any of these markets that I serve, and you want to work with someone who actually knows both, not just one, listen, I'm here for you and I would love to help you. You can text me directly at 757-837-0096. You can also click the link in the description so you can schedule a free, no obligation consultation. We can sit down and talk through your situation, your timeline, your budget, and figure out how we're going to bridge the gap between where you are now and where the Lord is calling you to be. And if this video added value for you today, please give it a thumbs up. Drop a comment below. Tell me which market that you and your family are currently leaning toward moving to. And guys, don't forget to subscribe, okay? I don't want you to miss out on what's coming next. I read every single comment. I respond to every single comment. And y'all, I love hearing from y'all, okay? Guys, thank you so much for your support of my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.